Good morning. It is Flossmas Day 11, Tuesday, December the 11th. I should be at home sewing, but instead I am at the FedEx drop-off location here in London, and I'm about to talk to a man about a missing box. So if you could cross all of your fingers and toes for me that it reaches the resolution that I am really hoping for. I'll see you in a minute. The very nice man at the Postnet office found the tracking number and found the box. So, hooray for the Postnet man. Now I can get on with my day. So, back to sewing and back to some Flossmas activities. And I've got some Because Monday draw that didn't happen yesterday because of yesterday's missing video. And let's head inside. Time for a cup of coffee, I think. So I was watching Daleen the other night on Flosstube. She has 2 videos out now. Her channel is called SewGrateful, and that's sew like S-E-W. And I'll put a link to her channel in the drop-down box below. Her most recent episode that I just watched, she said so many things in it that I either laughed or nodded my head, and she had this really cool finishing technique where she used her sewing machine and a fork, and she folded the material. I can't even remember what it's called, like fork folding or something. And she turned a strip of fabric into this really cool sort of ribbon finishing stuff that she then put around her finishing stuff. Maybe I could have come up with something a little bit better than that. So she used that in an FFO that she'd done on a box top that she had ordered, this sort of oval box. She painted it, and it was beautiful. And so this fork folding technique that she showed looked brilliant. And so I'm going to have to look up a few more online YouTube tutorials and see if I can figure it out. It doesn't look that hard. It just looks really cool. It looks like a really cool thing that you can do to create this finishing stuff. Anyways, Daleen said a couple of really funny things, and one of them just made me laugh so hard because she has curly hair like me, and she had put it back in, pins for the recording that she was doing. And she said something, she said, I did that so that I wouldn't fiddle with it while I was recording. And she said, I love my hair, but sometimes it's a little more joyful than others. And I laughed so hard because that is the truth. I love my hair. Some days it's more joyful than others. So today is a joyful day. Anyways, hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Caroline, and this is Off the Grid Needlearts. I've been recording for over a year. I think it's almost a year and a half now, which is kind of cool. Normally I record my regular Flosstube videos on Monday. Yesterday was a day. So my recording did not happen yesterday, which is a secondary bummer because it means that I missed a day in my recording Flossmas videos where I challenged myself to record a video every day. So it rankles me a little bit that I missed yesterday. However, I just couldn't do it. So many reasons that are way too boring to list and tell you about. So here I am. So we're going to pretend that today is Monday, which means that we have to do a Because Monday giveaway. Last Monday's giveaway was this new Dimensions kit. It's a full kit, a couple of baby bibs, and there were 29 comments. So the drawing happens on our Facebook group. It's called Friday Off the Grid, and it is just a collection of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Wonderful stitchers. The stitching that you see on that feed is incredible. It makes you want to basically quit everything and stitch all day, every day, which is what we want to do anyways, right? So there were the drawing happens on the Facebook group, these Because Monday drawings. I have other giveaways that I offer at other times, but I'll usually tell where those drawings are happening. This one's on Facebook. There were 29 comments last week for this entry, and the random number generator chose comment number 3. So the winner for the baby bibs is Cindy Hall, and I'll put your name up on the screen, and I've sent you a message on Facebook. If you would like to get in touch with me with your mailing address, I will get this out to you. Congratulations. And Cindy says that she has 2 new granddaughters who just started eating solid food. So you better stitch fast, because before you know it, they'll be applying for university. This week's draw, I have a Carolyn Manning chart to give away. It's pretty cute. Okay, so Carolyn Manning Designs, and it's called Snowflake Farmer. So it is, again, it's a brand new chart. Carolyn Manning Designs, Snowflake Farmer, Snowballs, Snowflake Farmer. You can see he's got his little, what would you call that? A hoe? Is he hoeing the snowflakes? I like his little overalls. I think those are pretty cute. So this is today's drawing, because Monday. So I will have that up on the Facebook group right after this video uploads for today. Okay, so I'm using a new mug. I bought this mug last week from a potter who is local to my area. Her name is Remembrances Pottery, and she's from Sarnia, Ontario. And those of you who are knitters and watch the Grocery Girls, you've probably heard of her before, because the Grocery Girls, Tracy and Jody, love Remembrance Pottery. And Jody, I believe her husband's family is from Sarnia, so they visit Sarnia quite often. And so they've sort of made Remembrances Pottery a little bit famous. Well, I live not that far away from Sarnia, and with our local, not local, was countrywide, rotating postal strikes recently, she had some trouble shipping out her mugs in time for Christmas, so she offered up a bunch of her holiday mugs for local pickup. And I happen to have a couple of friends who live in Sarnia, the Codependent Knitters, and my friend Dawn very, very kindly went and picked up my mug for me and then delivered it to me the next time I saw her. So I've got all these individual Christmas trees on my mug, and I love that she puts a little thumb rest at the top. The handle's nice and wide, so your hand fits in nicely. Now she makes these a little differently. She makes them flat, and then she rolls them together and then presses it, and then you can see how the bottom piece is separate. So it's a beautiful mug, and I wanted something that I only drank herbal tea out of, because I find that herbal tea can sometimes, because I love using pottery mugs, I find that sometimes herbal tea can leave a taste. But I like the finish on her mugs is very, very good. I don't think anything is going to leach into it. Anyways, I'm drinking one of my favorites. This is a Stash holiday tea. It really, truly is a cup of joy. This is the Christmas in Paris herbal tea. And when you open up the package, it smells like an After 8 mint. It is like that chocolate, mint chocolate smell. It's really good. You can buy it on Amazon, because that's where I purchased. You can buy a 100 count box of this tea on Amazon, because that's what I did. And it's delicious, so I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so getting to my stitching. Ornaments, part of Flossmas, I was starting an ornament today. There was one day last week that I chose to do my ornament 2 days in a row. Yesterday, I chose to not start a new ornament. I did put 2 more lengths of thread into the ornament from the day before, because I had no time to do anything else. And I want this to be fun. I want this to be a pleasure for me. I don't want it to be a stress, and there aren't any rules for Flossmas. It's just supposed to be fun. So I continue to work on the ornament from the day before, which, if you might remember, was from the 2008 ornament issue. And it was the Prairie Schooler. Now I have to find the picture of the ornament itself. There it is. So this was the Prairie Schooler ornament. It's called Snowy Night. And that's what the finish will look like. course, mine will be just as beautifully FFO'd as the one in the picture eventually. And so this is where I'm at. I like to stitch my white first, and then I put in my other darker colors if there's a lot of snow. So many of these ornaments that I'm not getting a lot of stitching in usually will have a lot of white because they're Christmas ornaments. There's usually a lot of snow in Christmas ornaments. So I'm pretty, I am loving this so far. Just loving it. So that was the last ornament in last week's sort of collection of ornaments, and you might recall I'm keeping all of my, like a week's worth of ornaments in one project bag. So this was my project bag from week 1, and I have everything in here from week 1, including the magazine and the blue ribbon, Rosewood Manor. I'll show you since I'm talking about it. It is a beautiful, beautiful collection of ornaments. This is the Christmas Blues. That's where I got the blues from. Christmas Blues, Rosewood Manor. And I am stitching the Noel ornament. I know I'll be stitching more from this, but not this Christmas. That's the only one I'm doing out of there this Christmas. Though never say never. So because my Prairie Schooler is from 2008, and I know there's a couple more that I want to do from here, this is the first ornament that's actually going to go in my new bag. And I'll show you my new bag in a little bit. Because first, I'm going to show you today's new ornament. Today's ornament is, I am using the third and final pre-wrapped Aida canvas that I purchased. I purchased a 3-pack. It's 14 count. It's a natural Aida. My plan is to hinge the 3 together in the end and put ribbon around them. And this is the one that I plan to use as the center block. And then I'll have the 2 other blocks on either side. This ornament's only going to have one color. The color is going to be Victorian Holiday. So this is the red that I've used in the other 2 ornaments that will flank either side. So it's cohesive. All the colors will match. And this ornament, those of you who have watched for a long time or heard me talk to Ginger Gerald or Gary and Christine from Fiber Talk, people have asked me how I started stitching, and I've told this story a few times about the very first thing that I ever made. It was a pin cushion. The very first pin cushion that I made, I gave to my mom. I restitched that design about 15 years ago, and I then actually gifted that to cousins of John, who really loved it. So I gifted it to them. It was framed beautifully. It was gorgeous. I loved it. It was just this small little thing. And anyways, I gave it away, and I've always wanted to stitch it again. So now I'm going to stitch it again. This is the original pincushion. This was the very first thing I ever stitched when I was 14. And mistakes and all, the pattern is full of mistakes. I'm going to show you the pattern because I have no idea who designed it or where it's from. There's no information on it at all. It came in a kit with fabric and floss. I think they might have just put it together there for the museum gift shop. So I can't even give credit to anyone. I don't think there's any problem at all with me showing this to you. It is a pin. It's a, how would I describe it? Well, it's just a motif. That's all it is. So it's like a snowflake. Ta-da! This was the very first thing I ever stitched in my whole life, and now I'm going to recreate it on my canvas with my Victorian Holiday, and it's going to be a Christmas ornament that I can pull out every year and remember how I got my big start. So I love it. So it's meaningful to me, and I love the color, and I love that, you know, it's going to be fun to stitch. So I'm looking forward to getting to that tonight. That's on deck. I have some teaching to do tonight. I have about, how many? I think I've got 3 kids tonight. My last 2 older kids, I've already taught them this week because one of them has a theory exam coming up this next weekend. So he had his lesson last night, and the other older student has a Christmas concert at her school tonight. So after I teach those 3 and do a bit more sewing, then I am done for the day, and I'm going to work on my ornament. The other whip that I have been working on, I've mentioned that I put Dido back on my floor frame. This is a Sampler Cove pattern. I have looked for the cover photo and I can't find it. Maybe it's possible I recycled it. It's possible someone else in my family recycled it. That's actually more likely than me recycling it, because I wouldn't have recycled it, but probably someone else did. I can't find it anywhere. So I'm going to show you a picture of what it looked like when I started, when I put it on the floor frame before I put a single stitch in it, so where it was when I left off last time, and then I'm going to take a little bit more video where I will show you what I've done so far. I'm also, because it's in the living room and it's on my floor frame, I think I'm also at the same time going to take a little video of my floor frame itself, because people are always curious what I use, do I like it, so on and so forth. So if you've ever been interested in, it's a Hearthside Craftworks floor frame. It's a Mark II floor frame they are a small business in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And I have had it for at least 10 years, and I love it. I use it every day, and it is, it's a workhorse. I love it. So I'll take a little bit of a video about that frame, how it looks, and how I set it up in my stitching area that's here in the living room. And maybe somebody will find that useful. Okay, so I'm gonna put that video in now, and then I'll be back after that with just a really quick little shop update. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so I'm headed over to my floor frame, and of course, you know, we've got the random flotsam and jetsam around here on the floor. Dog toy, puzzles, Star Wars games, and so on and so forth. We've got Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I am the mother of a 10-year-old boy, so there are little bits and pieces of Lego and all kinds of stuff all over the place. This table runner in the middle, which needs a good iron, my sister-in-law made this. My sister-in-law Kathy made this beautiful Christmas tree for me. So it's all appliqued on there. And, you know, she bound it beautifully. And we put this out every Christmas, and I love it. So in a few weeks at Christmas time, this table will be covered with all kinds of Christmas goodies, because we're in the living room. There's my Christmas tree right there, and my poinsettia, and over there on my door is the ornament that Crafty Kim gave me last year. And I hang it on my door, and it makes me smile every time I go past it. Okay, so if I move just a little bit to the left here, you're going to see, oh, don't look at that loom. Don't ask me about that loom, because I won't want to tell you the truth about it. And of course the air hockey table that my kids don't use anymore. And here is my stitching setup. So this is my living room stitching setup. My floor frame, I take it upstairs and downstairs. It's very light, and so I just carry it up or down depending on where I'm hanging out with my family. I'm contemplating ordering myself a Lowry frame for Christmas. It won't get here in time for Christmas, but that would be my gift. And then I would keep that down here and use it for smaller projects, to then not have to take it upstairs or downstairs. I stitch all the time, so whether or not I take it up or down, I'm not making any sense. Anyways, that's because I'm shiny nickeled by my frame and wondering what I'm going to tell you about it. So as you can see, it is solid oak. It is handmade. I've got the tray, the accessory tray that I purchased. Well, I didn't purchase. This was a Christmas gift, so it was purchased for me. The shop model that they had at Thread and I had the tray with it, so I was lucky enough to get that. And there's also the pattern holder. I'm going to move that pattern before I take you around to show off my stitching close up. So as you can see, the entire mechanism has these knobs. You might recognize these if you've used Kay's Case Craft, what's it called? Case Creations, excuse me. Scroll rod system, they use these knobs as well. They're just beautiful. They're all oak. This, you can see, you can move everything along here. That's all adjustable. Everything is adjustable there. Beautifully made. Nice hardware. And the sides are adjustable as well. I've had people ask me that before. So you can see at the side here, I can adjust the height of the frame depending on the height of my couch or my chair. So pretty cool. All right, so let me come around the other side and I'll show you what I've been working on. So I will have just inserted a picture of where I was before I got to work on this pattern a few days ago, and here's where I am now. So I've done this whole corner down in here, and I finished off this little section here, and it's going pretty well. I love it. The colors aren't showing up quite true. It's a little more muted in reality. This grape color here isn't quite as bright. I varied my colors from the pattern. I chose colors, different colors. I chose my own. So Gentle Arts, Old Hickory, and Grape Arbor. Those are the only two colors that I'm using for the entire design. So as you can see, it's stitching up pretty quickly. I was pretty impressed right from, you know, the first time I started stitching it. It's not full coverage, and so those little motifs tend to go quite quickly. You know, you can do one of these little guys and then feel quite satisfied that you've made some good progress. And I've got my coffee, of course it's backwards here. There it is. My coffee needle minder there, and my Mighty Bright light that I keep on my frame. And then if I scroll over here, you can see my table beside me where I keep my other light. It's called a natural light, and it's just an LED. It's got 3 levels of brightness. So my Mighty Bright, my hand lotion, my scissors, my bowl of Christmas tamari balls, and there is a little bit of sustenance right over there. The little sweeties. Those are left over from the party. And if you look closely, you can see underneath there, I have my very first little piece of tester heart hanger that I ever did. So if I move this, you can see a little bit more clearly that I actually did some cut work there, my very self. And those are my tabari balls. I made these ones here, the bigger ones, and my sister-in-law Kathy made all 3 of these balls here. That actually, of course, you can tell that's not a tamari ball, it's a fabric ball, but she made that one as well. So I love them. Bring them out every year at Christmas. So there you go. That's it for my show and tell and my stitching spot. So it's normally sirens that we get when I record these videos. Today it's a barking dog. You're crooked. Let me straighten you up there. Is that better? No, that's worse. We might be crooked for the rest of this. My neighbor's, I know I've told this before, my neighbor's daughter, when she comes over with the kids, she brings her dog, and it is the meanest, barkiest German Shepherd you've ever met. And that dog will bark all day long. So I only notice it when I'm trying to do things like this and I need for it to be quiet. So we'll see. He's been a little quieter today than usual, so that might have been it. Fingers crossed. So I'll be quick and I'm going to wrap up. I just have a little bit of a shop update and then I am done. I told you earlier about my little mishap with FedEx. So The rotating postal strikes in Canada have caused a huge backlog of packages being delayed. And, it has also created a bigger workload for the other delivery systems in our country. So FedEx and UPS and those other delivery companies are seeing, massive increase in volume of deliveries because people are trying to find alternate methods to get their packages where they need to be at Christmas time. Plus, with Black Friday sales, Cyber Monday sales, and Christmas shopping, things are slowing down. So things are taking a little longer to get where they need to be. So if you've ordered a bag and it's taking a little longer to get to you, I do apologize. I can't guarantee delivery for Christmas, and it is completely beyond my control to get it to you there in time. I hope that it will, but you may have to just have the knowledge that if you wanted it for Christmas, it is your Christmas present, but it's on its way, and you'll enjoy it when you finally get it. And I'm really sorry. So I am not shipping the vast majority of my bags with Canada Post anymore. I have found an alternate carrier that I box up a collection of shipments, and then I FedEx it to their head office in Mississauga. And they take it over the border for me and put it into the US Postal Service. So it is, I believe it's going to be a few days faster than Canada Post eventually, once we get past this Christmas rush. Cost of it will remain exactly the same because the cost of the US Postal Service charges are a little bit less, but because I'm having to pay to get it to their location, it's all a bit of a wash. So there will be no increase in postal rates on the bags. I charge almost exactly what it costs me to send it to you. And in fact, in many cases, it's $1 or $2 in your favor. So I do appreciate your patience with these delivery service issues. The other thing is that the biggest benefit to how I have changed how I'm shipping is that now I am able to provide you with a tracking number for the same price. Whereas through Canada Post, in order to ship internationally, it was far too expensive to have a tracking number. So I would send them non-tracked, and that made it affordable. However, it made it a little bit dicey when there would be, a package that took a month to arrive and I had no tracking number. I only had one bag not arrive at its destination in an entire year and a bit. So that's not bad. However, this takes the guesswork out of it. I will now be providing tracking numbers. So hooray! I was pretty excited about that. So there are tracking numbers now. Let's just get past the Christmas season and then hopefully things will speed up. So my bag for this week for Flossmas, I bought some Anne of Green Gables fabric. And this was the bag that I made myself for week 2, and I put a few extras up in the shop. And it is, if I do say so myself, it is beautiful. I can't help it. It's beautiful. Okay, so I have sold most of the ones that I had, but I have 4 left. So it is a medium set. You can see Matthew and Anne in the sled. There is that iconic white farmhouse with the green shutters from Prince Edward Island. And there is Anne, her very self. So, I love it. The accent on the bottom has a slight metallic to it. And then there is a notions pouch to go with. So, I think there are 4 left at the moment. And I have, I thought I was sold out of the week 1 Flossmas bags, but just this morning I found fabric that I had pre-cut to make 1 more. So I actually have 1 last set of these. It comes with if I can reach it, hang on. Ooh. It comes with a little heart notions pouch. So there's 1 of those left. There's one other, now my cutting pile is right beside me. So there's one other Christmas bag left with the, and I'm making it later today. This fabric, and it has the polka dots on the bottom. The polka dots are, I have a cutting mat in the kitchen at the moment, and my polka dots are over there. I'm not gonna go and get the polka, they're little cute red polka dots. You'll have to take my word for it. So I have one of these flat sets left for cross stitch. I think I have a couple of the wedge totes left. And I still have a couple of the mitten, the kit, the holiday kit. So I've got the wedge tote. Actually, this is mine because I tend to keep the mistakes. And the mistake on this one was I forgot to put the tab on the side. So this one's mine. And I've got my, I send a zipper pull or a progress keeper with each bag. So I've got an elephant on mine. I should have a snowflake, but I liked the elephant. It's got a gingham print on the inside. I have this in two styles. I have this in the wedge tote that works really well for Christmas ornaments. It holds an 8x8 inch square Q-snap. It's got a red gingham interior that I love. And I also have this in a large flat cross stitch tote that fits an 11 inch square Q-snap. And I've got my socks in here. So these are my Christmas socks that I'm hoping to finish by the end of Christmas. When, you know, I'm not going to take off my pajamas and I'm going to watch Christmas movies all day and knit on my Christmas socks. Okay, so that's it for me today. That's the shop update. That's my whips, my Because Monday draw. I think I did everything. So happy Not Monday, and I will see you tomorrow for Flossmas Day 12. Happy stitching.